Please, don't kill me, Ashley screamed, her voice cracking with terror. But it was too late. What Daniel found in that letter had already destroyed everything. The house was quiet, except for the echo of a father who had just learned the children weren't his. The front yard was immaculate. A freshly trimmed lawn, a red tricycle on the porch, a wind chime singing softly in the breeze. From the outside, the Whitmore house looked like every suburban American dream. Daniel Whitmore, a 38-year-old construction project manager, lived there with his wife Ashley and their 3 kids. Noah, 10, Grace, 8, and little Mia, just 5. Their family portraits were the kind that made neighbors smile and strangers jealous. Matching Christmas sweaters, beach trips, soccer trophies on the mantel. You'd never guess what was coming. You'd never imagine what secret was sitting, unopened, in a drawer in Daniel's home office. A secret that would end 5 lives and haunt a quiet Georgia community forever. It began with a letter. Not an angry confrontation. Not a divorce filing. Not even a heated argument. Just a letter, half buried under receipts and warranty cards. An old envelope with a name typed neatly in black ink, Daniel Whitmore. Inside was a paternity test result, dated 4 years ago. Requested by Ashley, without his knowledge. And the result. Daniel was not the biological father of Mia, or Grace, or even Noah. Not one of them. His whole identity as a father, unraveled in 10 lines of cold medical language. And the test wasn't even new. Ashley had known. 4 years. Daniel just hadn't. He didn't scream. He didn't throw things. He didn't even ask her about it. Not at first. He just stared at those lines on the page for hours, his entire world collapsing in the silence. Every bedtime story, every skinned knee, every proud photo on his phone, it was all a lie. A beautiful, devastating lie. When he finally confronted Ashley that night, she froze. Then she cried. She said it had only been 1 mistake. Then 2. Then, she stopped talking. Because Daniel was staring at her with a look she had never seen before. Not angry. Not heartbroken. Just empty. He didn't hit her. He didn't threaten her. He just nodded, turned away, and said one thing, "Thank you for telling me." But she hadn't. The test had. And something in Daniel cracked that night. The next morning, he didn't go to work. He didn't wake the kids. He didn't speak. He just sat in his truck, staring at the dashboard for hours. Thinking. Replaying 10 years of his life. A decade of love, sacrifice, birthday parties. All now redefined. Not by betrayal, but by absence. Who was he if he wasn't their father? What was his family if it wasn't real? For the next 2 weeks, Daniel pretended everything was fine. He kissed the kids goodnight. He brought Ashley coffee in bed. He even laughed during movie night. But inside, he was making a plan. A quiet, calculated plan. He started writing things down. Closing old accounts. Updating his will. Searching things on his phone he knew no one would ever see. Things like, how long does it take to die from sleeping pills? And painless ways to end a family. And then, he stopped searching. Because the decision was made. If he couldn't have the family he thought he had, no one would. Not Ashley. Not their biological fathers. Not the world. They would go together. As one. On a Thursday morning in May, while the rain tapped gently on the windows, Daniel made the kids pancakes. Their favorite. Blueberry with whipped cream. Ashley was upstairs folding laundry. She didn't hear him go to the garage. She didn't see the weapon he had hidden weeks earlier. She didn't hear his footsteps until he was already inside the room. She looked up, her hands full of warm towels. And in that instant she knew. "Daniel, wait, what are you doing?" she said, backing up slowly. He didn't answer. Just raised his arm. Ashley dropped the towels. Her voice cracked. "Please, Daniel. Please don't do this." But he stepped forward, his hand trembling. And then she screamed, louder than she ever had before, tears pouring down her face. "Please, please, don't kill me." Her cry echoed down the hall. And for a moment, he paused. Just for a moment. But the silence that followed was not mercy. It was final. A single, sharp sound. And Ashley fell. The first shot ended her life instantly. No more begging. No more screams. Just silence. And then, the children. One by one. Grace was brushing her doll's hair. Mia was drawing on the kitchen floor. Noah had headphones on. By the time the neighbors heard anything, it was already over. The 911 call came from a woman next door. She'd heard a loud pop. Then another. Then nothing. When police arrived, the front door was locked. The home was still. The kitchen light was on. Cookies cooling on the counter. The smell of pancakes still hanging in the air. And in the center of it all, 5 bodies. Ashley on the stairs. The children in different rooms. Daniel on the floor in the living room, alive, but unconscious. A failed suicide attempt. A bottle of pills half empty. A note taped to his chest. It read, "I was living a lie. So now I'm ending it." The community was shattered. News vans swarmed the neighborhood. Reporters whispered about DNA betrayal, emotional collapse, and the terrifying calm with which Daniel carried out the murders. At the hospital, Daniel awoke 2 days later. He said nothing. He didn't ask about the children. He didn't ask about Ashley. He didn't even ask why he was still alive. When detectives finally questioned him, he only spoke one sentence. "If they weren't mine, then who was I?" The trial was swift. The evidence overwhelming. The motive, betrayal. Daniel's defense team argued diminished capacity, temporary insanity driven by trauma. But the jury didn't buy it. Not for the children. Not for the execution-style manner. Not for the planning. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. And yet, even in prison, the story didn't fade. Podcasts dissected it. Psychologists analyzed it. True crime channels debated it. Was Daniel a broken man pushed to the brink by unbearable pain? Or a narcissist who saw his family as possessions, not people? Could DNA denial really unravel a man so deeply that he'd choose death over dishonor? Some said yes. Others said he was always capable. That the test didn't create the killer, it just gave him permission. But beneath all the analysis, one truth remained. 3 children who loved their father unconditionally were dead. Not because of who they were, but because of who he thought he had to be. Ashley, too, would never have a chance to explain, to rebuild, to say she was sorry, or not sorry. Her side of the story died with her. And Daniel, he speaks to no one, doesn't give interviews, doesn't write letters. He sits in a maximum security cell in Georgia, alone, remembering birthdays, wondering who their fathers were, and repeating one question over and over. What if I never found that letter? This wasn't just a story about DNA, or infidelity, or betrayal. It was about identity, about the terrifying void that opens when everything you thought you were vanishes, when biology becomes destiny, when fatherhood turns from love into proof, when men raised to believe their worth lies in blood, snap when it doesn't. Could therapy have saved Daniel? Could honesty have changed the outcome? Could a world less obsessed with paternity have given him peace? We'll never know. Because Daniel didn't just destroy a family. He destroyed their future. He destroyed answers. And now, we're left with only questions. Subscribe to Echoes of Crime for more shocking true crime stories.